8 steps to unlock better tasting vegetables. We're giving away this free guide as a seasonal special for the next 3 days. Get yours now. Here we are, we're back into the nice part of the fall. It's crazy how these snowstorms will come along, totally crush the garden, kill everything, and then a week later, it's back to 60 to 70 degrees again. This is the exact reason that some people preach letting their garden sleep or letting their garden hang out all winter long and not go crazy and not harvest everything. But in today's video, we're gonna explain to you how you can apply this principle in the multitude of different settings that you have in your garden. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So let's dive in. So when we're looking at our grass, which is one of the biggest areas that we can store a lot of beneficial biology at our property over the winter. Well, a lot of times we get gung-ho and we go and clean it up, and I get it. It's because then it's not tracking in the house. It prevents those weird lumpy spots in your grass that you've got to seed for the next winter or for the next spring to really have nice, thick, uniform grass. And there is a couple cons to just leaving your leaves really thick on top of your grass all winter long. It can definitely cause some issues. It can also host a bunch of benefits. Some of the benefits are a bunch of beneficial bacteria and fungi that ultimately start composting and creating nutrition for your grass so that when you do lay down your seed, it thrives and sprouts a lot better. Like this area of my yard, for example, it's always had these little bald spots. So in this particular area, I'm actually gonna leave a lot more thicker layer of leaves to purposefully decompose and compost all winter and spring long. And then in about March, I'll do a first layer of seed. In about June, I'll do another layer of seed. But after a while, these style systems really are better for the long term. Let's go check out another area of the farm that you can think about when you're looking at all these fresh leaves and all your dead plants. Let's go check it out. Another area we've always got to consider in the winter time is our beds themselves. These eggplant or nice huge plants, as you guys saw this last year, this is the Melanzani Rosa di Rotanda. That thing's not looking like it did earlier this year.
Nope.
But if you look at the soil, what you'll notice is because these plants were so big so quickly, none of the cover crop really ever established. So if we were to rip these things out of here, we're gonna have bare soil. So what we're gonna wanna do is take some of those extra leaves from around the property, preferably mulch them up, rip these plants out and lay them down. This is the perfect example of what not to do. Definitely don't let your huge tomato plants that are very susceptible to molds and funguses and weird root stuff that you really just want to keep away from your garden bed. Get this stuff out of your garden bed as quickly as possible, either into your compost bin, as long as you can compost responsibly. We definitely can't forget bean tunnel. And bean tunnel is a perfect example of a thing you don't want to do. You don't want to be lazy with a situation like this. The next thing we're going to want to do with any climbing area of our garden like this is we're going to want to go ahead and take down all our trellis netting, all our vines, all our everything, and definitely see if we've got a good amount of cover crop established and follow some of the same principle we've talked about elsewhere if we don't. So lastly, we've got a bed like this. This bed had gigantic kale in it. So none of the cover crop ever established here as well. Well, this is our opportunity to now, since the kale has been harvested and this bed is just sitting here, and if we leave it like this, it's going to get nuked and it's going to be really hard for something to establish in the beginning of the year. Now, will it grow? Yes, it'll be fine by the time July hits, but I like to have my beds rocking and rolling and ready for plants so that as plants and root systems and microbes, fungi, and water and air are received by your plant is ready for the uptaking and skyrockets towards the heavens. We're entertaining doing something special for this bed for this next year. So let us get a vote on what you think. Should we keep these garden beds or should we go to the aeroponic grow towers? where we can have a lot higher plant density, definitely a little bit more work because of the more plants that you have, but it's also an easy system to run, especially off of the fertigation station that I've already got set up. So let us know what you think. Put your comments and votes down below, and we're gonna see if there's anything else that we can do in the winter time to prep for spring for 2024. In today's video, we're gonna teach you how to handle these super hot death peppers without killing everybody who comes to eat at your house and actually turning them into something that's enjoyable. So if you want to add hot peppers into your meals with enjoyable heat, this is how you do it. So the first thing that we're gonna start with is our equipment. What accessories in the kitchen do we need to be able to handle these super hot peppers? Well, first off, I like to use a plastic cutting board. The plastic cutting board is better than a wood one because it doesn't allow anything to seep down into any of the pores as easily. Second off, you're gonna need some hand protection. I actually like to do 2 layers. I'll do a normal rubber glove and a thick, heavy-duty kitchen glove. The next thing for safety is eye protection, because the last thing that you want is any of this hot pepper juice in your eyeball. Last but not least, you need your peppers. I've brought about 10 different types of hot pepper from the garden. Some of them are low heat, some of them are medium heat, and some of them are rocket ship heat. And I'm actually gonna show you how to handle all of these, get all the seeds out, store the seeds if you want for next year for cultivation, but also how to dehydrate these without a dehydrator so that you can use them in your spice and salt shakers. If you guys are curious about grabbing a pack of this, check out the link down below to grab a pack from rareseeds.com, one of our chosen seed partners. This seed is absolutely amazing. Grab yourself a pack of habanada. So we're ready for the next step with dealing with these crazy hot death peppers. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pull all of our peppers off the board. We're gonna keep them together by variety. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that we've got a plate prepped with a paper towel on top of it. We're gonna cut these peppers open, and then we're gonna set them out sliced and diced on this paper towel, and we're just gonna let them dry out naturally. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna chop off the tops of all of these peppers, and then chop these things right down the center. Sometimes it's good to even chop down the side, so that way you don't go right through all the seed pod, and it actually makes the seed pod a little bit easier to remove. So offset that cut on that first couple peppers that you dice up, and it'll be a lot easier to access. Also, when they're super wrinkly like this, you want to expose as much of that to the air as possible. It's a good opportunity. If you see any seeds like this, those you're definitely not going to want to save. You're going to want to save any of your white and nice seeds like this. That's a perfect seed to save, but this is still edible as a pepper because it hasn't bled into the rest of the flesh or meat. If you see any coloration like this bleed into the meat to where when you take the seeds out, you can still see it in the flesh, that is bad. You do not want to eat a pepper or dehydrate a pepper like that, but this one is totally fine. You always want to put your skin down. This allows all the fumes to come up and out of the pepper's actual inside meat. That's really, really important for allowing this ghetto dehydration method to work correctly. We've now got a whole plate of my 2 favorite peppers from the year. Sugar Rush Red, ready to dehydrate and in a good spot. We're gonna put these into an area that first off, they're not gonna get messed with by the family. Kids aren't gonna come in, the dog isn't gonna get them, nothing like that. So up high, out of reach of the rest of the family, I like to put them in my seed room because it's where I store all of my food because I'm not growing seeds in there right now, and it acts as my temporary food storage room. All right, so we've completed just Sugar Rush. We chopped the top off, we chopped it down the middle, we removed the seeds, we threw most of them away, we selected the best pepper with the best white seeds, and we stored them on a paper towel labeled Sugar Rush. We're gonna apply the same process to the rest of the peppers. We're gonna have more plates with more paper towels for more seed saving, and we're gonna have different types of pepper. We appreciate you guys following us on the journey here. What is the hottest pepper that you have eaten? We want to know in the comments down below. What did it feel like? What was the experience? What were you going through? But most importantly, what was the pepper? Post in the comments down below. We'll see you next time.
Please like and subscribe. Thanks for the journey, family.